Much has been made of the recent discovery or the recent development of the technology by Ian Wilmot's group in Scotland and the replication of the technique of cloning in other venues, including Hawaii, with regard to mice, and to a more dubious experiment done in South Korea. Cloning has occupied the minds of Westerners, particularly Americans, with the entire idea that now a living being can be fully replicated. At least its genome and its physiology can be completely replicated. The technique, although incredibly powerful, is surprisingly simple. It merely involves removing the nucleus, that is, the genetic information of a living cell, and then placing this genetic information within the shell of an egg. The egg of a female animal, be it a human being, a sheep, or a mouse, can be removed from the uterus or directly from the ovary of a female animal, have the genetic information within that egg removed, and then replaced by the genetic information from an already existing living organism. The egg can then be implanted into the uterus of the original female or another surrogate female, and then allowed to implant in the uterus and then grow to a full fetus. The fetus that is produced will be an exact genetic copy of the living being. Of course, this has scared quite a lot of religious groups, particularly fundamentalist groups, who are very afraid that this violates the sacrosanctity of life, the ability to now take a human being, most importantly, not so much an animal. Animals can be have been cloned for years, and the benefits of cloning animal cells at a very small level have been used by the agricultural industries within Western Europe and the United States since the 1970s. The idea of cloning a human being is very much more controversial, and the fact that it has been done to a limited extent in East Asia, even though evidence is very scarce, shows that it can be done, and most likely will be done. The controversy then becomes, what does cloning really mean for us? What can cloning offer? Cloning does offer the ability to, if one is willing, and if one is really, shall we say, interested in patterns of social engineering, use cloning for the benefits of psychological experiments. One now takes a living being, an intelligent living being that is an exact genetic copy of one that already exists, and then see how the environment in which that being is raised fundamentally changes that person's personality. The question, therefore, is, even though we have clones, and this must be made abundantly clear to the layman, even though one is a direct genetic or physiological copy of an already existing human being, in no way are you the exact same being. Obviously, your environment, obviously experiences that the cloned being will have in his or her lifetime will obviously make him or her radically different from the existing being from whence he or she came. This is in no way to justify human cloning. There are other moral dilemmas that are that can be brought to bear upon this. Do we clone a human being merely for experimentation? This seems very barbaric in light of the Holocaust and in light of the genetic engineering or eugenics movement at the beginning of this century. So this brings up entire specters of totalitarian social control that many who are interested in freedom and liberty obviously are very frightened of. More to bear, even though the science is available, does not necessarily justify our use of it. The science may be beneficial to the extent to which a cloned fetus, for example, can be given to couples that are infertile, couples that have lost a child very early in pregnancy or have lost a child when they are very young. And a lot of couples, especially in the United States of America, have actually signed up at $150,000 an experiment to have children that were dead or that died rather early in pregnancy or died immediately after birth, or those couples that are infertile have signed up to actually have children via clones, usually because the male within the relationship is sterile. These may be beneficial to some couples And maybe cloning, the future of human cloning, may indeed have only this aspect in its application to society in general. The moral dilemmas that are facing us, therefore, one must ask several questions. First of all, who should handle these questions? Should this be left to the scientific community? Should this be left to the market? Should this be put in the hands of government? So the cloning technology, though very powerful, though very simple, will shape public debate not only in terms of where biological science moves, but also how we approach ethics and technology in general.